Hey everybody, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. I'm Jimmy Pardo. This week, 1987.
We've got it on vinyl, CD and cassette.
We've got pop, rock, heavy metal, punk, funk, rap, and new wave. All sales are final, but you'll never regret all the music you get at Jimmy's Records and Tapes.
I'm loving music again. Hi there, welcome to Jimmy's Records and Tapes. This week we're talking about 1987. What's going on in the world in 87? Well, Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, well, they had some problems, didn't they? He got involved with their Jessica Hahn, then Jessica Hahn went on to do something with Sam Kinison. Tammy Faye had, from what I could tell from every stand-up comedian's jokes, she had bad makeup. Ronald Reagan told Gorbachev, "Sir, you will tear down that wall." And very different from today where they're chanting, "Build the wall." So times have changed. People change. Seasons change. I'm not talking about expose. 3 movies were released in 1987 that are people still quote to this day. Wall Street, greed is good. People quote that. People always say don't put. Yeah, whenever somebody uses the word corner, you could assume some a-hole's going to yell out, "Hey, nobody puts blah blah in a corner." That, of course, from Dirty Dancing, and of course, "Goodbye to Vietnam," the great movie with Robin Williams. Besides going to the movie theater, what does your money get you? Well, gasoline costs 92 cents a gallon, a house costs $92,000, and a Ford Mustang costs $9,200. A lot of 92s in 87. Musically, best-selling song of the year was Walk Like an Egyptian by the Bangles. The best-selling album of the year was Slippery When Wet by Bon Jovi. I don't like Bon Jovi. Grammy's Best New Artist was Jody Watley. Remember her from Shalamar, but she left before the only song you know by Shalamar, which is Dancing in the Sheets. She's not on that. She left before that. So don't go looking for her voice on that song. You won't find it. Grammy for Album of the Year was U2's The Joshua Tree. But the album we're going to talk about here today is Randy Travis's Always and Forever. It reached Billboard number 19, although it was on the country chart, it went to number 1. Produced by Kyle Lenning. Here's the deal. I was going to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts for the beginning of 1987, and after I initially lived in a, rented a room in a woman's house named Faith. Then some other famous people lived there too, whose names I don't remember right now, so not important to the story. But I lived with this woman, Faith, and other people. We were boarders. That's the word they use, boarders. I then moved in with a guy named Jeff. We didn't get along. He kicked me out. And I then moved in with, I had 3 roommates, Kirk, Arthur, and Nancy. Kirk and Nancy were from Austin, Texas. And I want to say it was Kirk who said to me one day, as I was on my way to Wherehouse Records, where I was employed while I went to the academy, "Hey, can you get me the new Randy Travis album on cassette?" And I, of course, there's no doubt in my mind, probably made fun of him in some sort of a over-the-top, probably hurtful, "You got it, Kirk. Well, I haven't get you your new cassette tape. I'll get you your country music, Kirk." Probably did that. I got him the cassette. I brought it home and said, "Here it is." He goes, "Well, woohoo, Jim! Thank you so much for getting me. Lasso!" And we sat around the campfire and listened to this Randy Travis cassette. And you know what? It's great. Randy Travis has a good voice. The songs are like 3-minute. They could have been on the radio in the 70s. They're pop. And it's just a terrific album. And I would have never even given it a second glance had Kirk not said, "Hey Jim, can you pick up that cassette on your way to work today? Can you also get to milking the cow?" Kirk did say this. This is 100% true. This is my memory of Kirk. We did a drinking game one night. It's one of the few times that I drank before I was 21, and for whatever reason, there was a channel on the cable that would just be like a slideshow. And on this particular night, between the hours of 11 p.m. and midnight, it was a slideshow showing you how much various things cost at the various grocery stores around town. For instance, it would be a picture of strawberries with the heading strawberries. At Ralph's, they were 92 cents a pound. At Hughes, they were 87 cents a pound. At Vaughn's, they were 82 cents a pound. And so we would then try to guess what the next one would be, who had the cheapest. And if you were right, the other 2 guys had to do a shot of Jägermeister. And again, I wasn't a drinker, So three guys, Nancy was out. Kirk, Arthur, and myself went through a bottle of Jägermeister playing this game in an hour. And then Nancy came home and was like, hey, what's going on, you guys? And I went, nothing's going on. Blah! And I vomit all over the carpet. In fact, there's a photo of me, and I hope to find it in time for this, of me, and I've got my shirt like this, and I don't feel okay. There was a rule: if you missed any classes at the academy due to any untoward behavior, you'd be expelled. So just coincidentally, all three of us came down with the flu the next day because we couldn't be honest and just say, listen, we did some stupid game last night. But I still had to go to work because I had to make money for rent. So I was at work, and somehow the vomit that I thought I had cleaned up was spreading. And so Kirk calls me up. Hey, Jim, it's Kirk. You got to get home. The vomit's spreading all over. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's spreading. I'm at work. And he just goes, come on, Jim. Come on, Jim. And so that's my memory of my time at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. I am still friends with Kirk to this day, and I look forward to whenever I see him. And he still will say to me the very first, he'll go, come on, Jim, the first time I see him. And I'll say, woo, boy. How to do? It's now time for this week's quick hit. All right, we're done with that. This is an album track off of Aha's second album, Scoundrel Days. The album was released in 86, but the single, Manhattan Skyline, was released in 87, which is why I'm talking about it here. If you have not listened to anything of Aha besides Take On Me or The Sun Always Shines on TV, The Sun Always Shines on TV, revisit Aha. They recently put out a MTV Unplugged called Summer Solstice, which is a pared down versions of all their songs, and it is flawless. It is just a terrific album, and fans of Never Not Funny will remember that there was a time that I turned to my co-host Matt Belknap and with all earnestness said, it's time to admit Aha's one of my favorite bands. That is this week's episode of Jimmy's Records and Tapes. If you liked it, click like, subscribe, tell your buddies about it. Music collectors, vinyl collectors, hoarders. Tell everybody you know. Just some guy walking down the street. Hey, Jimmy's Records and Tapes, you should watch it. Also follow me on Twitter at Jimmy Pardo, and I host the award-winning podcast Never Not Funny, which you can find on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. That is it for this week. Until next week, the record is back in its sleeve.